One way into hell or Sheol, that's to die. One way out, that is for God to call you out in the resurrection. And then there is one way into heaven, 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verses 51 to 55. 1 Corinthians 15:51 says, "Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep or be dead, but we shall all be changed." Now here Paul is talking about the church or the righteous at the time of Christ's return. At the time of Christ's return, in terms of the righteous, there will be two kinds. There will be the righteous dead and the righteous living. And the righteous dead are the ones that are sleeping. And the righteous living would be obviously the ones that are alive. And Paul is saying, at the time of Christ's coming, we will not all be dead, but some of us will be alive. But the point is, we shall all, whether dead or alive, be changed. 52, in a moment, in a twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible. And what happens? We shall be changed. For this corruptible must do what? Put on incorruption, and this mortal must do what? Put on immortality. So when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? So the only people, brethren, before I go make that point, let me just stress some things that we saw here in this verse. When the dead are raised, this is the righteous dead, they come forth in bodies that are incorruptible. That is, not subject to decay or disease. And also their bodies are immortal, that is, cannot die. And this is the only way you can get into heaven. The only way you can get into heaven is if you have on this immortal, incorruptible body. And so the only people in heaven are those who have been resurrected, or those who, like Elijah and Enoch, have been translated. How did Jesus get back to heaven? He was resurrected. How did Moses go to heaven? He was resurrected. How did the saints with Jesus go? And they were resurrected as the first fruits. So to exist in heaven, you need an immortal, incorruptible body. So newsflash, no one goes to heaven at death. All go to the grave, to Sheol, only to come out at the command of God. Therefore, all who claim to contact the dead are either faking it, or they are communicating with demonic spirits who are impersonating the dead. The next word that is translated as hell is the Greek word Hades. And this word is found in the New Testament, and we have three examples here. Matthew 16:18, I will build my church, says Jesus, and the gates of hell, the word Hades, shall not prevail against it. And then in 1 Corinthians 15:55, which we just read, it says, O death, where is thy sting? O grave, Hades, where is thy victory? And Revelation 20, verse 13, and death and hell, Hades, delivered up what? The dead which were in them. So we see Hades is the Greek equivalent of the Hebrew word Sheol. Both mean the grave or the state of death. Let's move on. Jesus was resurrected out of hell. Did you know that? Acts chapter 2, verse 31. This is Peter speaking of Christ's resurrection. He says, David, seeing this before, spake of the resurrection of Christ, that his soul was not left where? In hell, and the word is Hades. Neither his flesh did see corruption. So we know that Jesus was in the grave during his death, and the word hell there is Hades, or he was in the state of death. So Jesus, being as a man, had to die as all men would. He had to go in the grave, which is the Greek Hades or the Hebrew Sheol, and then he had to be resurrected by the power of God, as all men will. Amen. So Jesus, when Jesus was resurrected now, he was not resurrected with the sinful flesh with which he was born with, but he was resurrected now with the incorruptible, immortal body. How do we know that? Because remember, when the disciples were locked up in the room for fear of the persecution of the Jews, Jesus came right through the walls and appeared among them. So that was a different kind of body he had now. And remember, when he met Mary on the morning of his resurrection, he said, "Touch me not, for I have not yet" what? "Ascended to my Father, but go to my brethren and say, I am ascending to my Father." So that immortal, incorruptible body allows you to do heavenly space travel. So that's why I said that's the only body you can have if you want to get to heaven. You must have that body, because that is the body that Jesus went to heaven with. The next word is the Greek word Tartaros, and it's used only once in the whole Bible, and it's in 2 Peter chapter 2 verse 4. "God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell," and the word there is Tartaros, "and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment." And our parallel text here, Revelation 12:9, tells us the great dragon was cast out. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. So we know that Tartaros is the confinement of the devil and his angels to this dark earth. And as I said before, that word is used only once in the Bible. The next word, the fourth word, is the Greek word Gehenna. And here are two examples in Matthew 5:22. It says, "And whosoever shall say to his brother, Raca, shall be in danger of the council, but whosoever shall say, Thou fool, shall be in danger of hellfire." And the word there is Gehenna. And Matthew 23 verse 33, Jesus says, "Ye serpents, ye generations of vipers, how can ye escape the damnation of hell?" And the word Gehenna. Now Gehenna was a place located outside of Jerusalem. It was where the Jews had their garbage dump. And so in that place, it was the city dump, and there were always fires burning there, because they threw in the corpses of the dead, the carcasses of dead animals and so on, and the garbage. And so they had to have fires going to incinerate the garbage, to incinerate the corpses, and worms were feeding on the corpses until everything was consumed. And so that place was the city dump. We see here in the Wikipedia encyclopedia, the word Gehenna, it says Gehenna is derived from Gehinnom, meaning valley of Hinnom. And this is a picture of modern day Gehenna. Right? It's a valley. It says the valley is outside the south wall of ancient Jerusalem and stretches from the foot of Mount Zion eastward to Kidron Valley. And then it says here, after 638 BC, the valley of Hinnom and the valley of the son of Hinnom became the place for burning rubbish from Jerusalem. So when Jesus was speaking to the disciples, he pointed out the burning rubbish, and he says, listen, it's better for you to enter into heaven maimed and an invalid than you to be cast into the rubbish dump there with all your limbs. And he was using that as a symbol of what the destruction that will happen to the wicked at the end of time. Now, in the scheme of things, the word Gehenna is used 12 times in the Bible. Hades is used 11 times, and Sheol is used 66 times. So the meaning of hell, specifically as a place of punishment, is only used 12 times. But as the grave or state of death, it is used 77 times. But most times when we read